Are we?
Yep. I think, assuming people can hear us, that's always the question. Yeah, it's funny. I started a podcast. We did a live Google Hangout for a show that I do called Legends TV Talk.
Yeah.
It's kind of it's not like it's not a full podcast that we do. It's kind of a promotional deal that we're doing right now. I started the Google Hangout, but they didn't do the ding like they normally do.
Yeah, that ding is really critical to the process.
I know, right? Drives me crazy. Well, it didn't do it. And so like, it was just, if you could still watch this video, it's just me awkwardly staring at the camera because I wanted to make sure that once it went live, I was like already in it. And so like, then all of a sudden I have this look of like confusion and frustration. And then I just dive into the welcome. So.
Oh, look, it's Bo being super awkward.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, that's not
there's nothing different about that. Let's see, making sure we're going live here. It says, please sign in to view. Nope. Y'all tell us on Twitter. Make sure we're coming in okay.
Can if you happen to be listening, can you just let us know that you can hear us and or see us?
Well, they can typically see us, which is always the tragedy. It's the hearing. Let's see.
Did you hit the mute button?
We're good. All right, guys, you ready to get started?
Hold on.
Of course, gotta light that pipe. That's why we're doing it. It's why we do that. It's why we do what we do. This smells good. You just take your time. It's fine. As long as it's at me and not the equipment.
And not at the equipment, right? All right, brother, let's do it.
Welcome, Country Squire Radio. I'm Bo.
And I'm John David.
JD.
Hey, Bo. Good evening, man.
Man, good evening to you, sir. How you doing tonight?
You know, I'm doing well. I'm loving this time change thing. Like, I don't understand why, we have to go through this thing where, like, you get off work late at night in the wintertime and it's dark outside.
Right.
Like, man, we're doing Country Squire Radio live here at the shop, and man, it's light outside. It feels good. Yeah,
it's
great.
It felt weird to actually drive up and have the shop be empty, and it was like, oh, okay, y'all, because y'all are already closed.
Yeah, we're actually closed. Yeah, man. But man, yeah, enjoying daylight savings time. It kind of opens up the evening for more pipe time on the front porch, and
that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, it's been great. How are you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing all right. It's been a busy day for whatever reason. Oh, I know exactly the reason. So last week, my children. Or at least one of my children was on spring break, which we talked about last week and how that was kind of
that's a thing that people do.
Yeah. It was kind of wild, but it was a lot of fun. I took the opportunity for a lot of good daddy-daughter bonding time. And so we went fishing. I took her to the Natural Mississippi
Natural Science Museum.
Dude.
Yeah.
Do you know, I posted a picture of this on Twitter. Do you know they've got a 2-headed snake?
Like alive?
No, it's alive. It's a 2-headed snake.
That's terrifying.
Oh, it is terrifying. It is the most evil looking creature I've ever seen in my life. And it was all coiled up. They have like an aquarium, and you go down to the aquarium. It's so cool. I'd forgotten there was an aquarium down there. Like now I just kind of want to go and just hang out in the aquarium.
A snake with one head though is bad enough. But I mean, is it by itself?
It was 2 heads. Yeah. So it was in this little container in the middle of it. And you walk by and you think, oh, that's a weird thing to put in here. A statue of, oh my gosh, it's moving.
Right.
Oh, it's moving towards me. And you freak out. It was crazy.
Is it? I mean, you have to think like which brain works for the snake. You know what I mean? Like
I know.
Like, does the snake try to pull in 2 different directions?
Well,
sometimes
it's a conjoined twin type deal, right?
I guess so. So they figure out a way to cooperate and then just kind of go eat mice or whatever.
But then is it 2 digestive systems? I don't know. I posted a Twitter I posted a picture on Twitter at the Real Bo York if you want to see the creepiest thing you've ever seen in your life.
I'm no scientist, but that doesn't seem very accurate, very right.
Well, it was interesting because it happened. I saw it on the morning of St. Patrick's Day, and I figure like if you're going to run into like a creepy snake situation, St. Patrick's Day is the day to do it.
Oh, that's right, because he's the guy that got rid of the snakes.
Yeah, that's right. That
he drove them out.
That's right. Hey, happy belated St. Patrick's Day to you.
Happy belated St. Patty's Day.
You went shooting skeet?
I did. I celebrated St. Patty's Day by skeet shooting in rural Mississippi. Yeah, it was fun. I hadn't done that in a long, long time, but it was a good time. Jackson, it's oddly enough, if you're a longtime listener to the show, you may know, like we have this, oddly enough, a really big St. Patty's Day parade here in Jackson, Mississippi. And so it's one of those things that I think this side of the Mississippi River, it's one of the largest in the country or something. Yeah. I mean, it's maybe after New York and Chicago or something like that. But yeah, we do a really big St. Patty's Day parade here. It's kind of funny. And yeah, so anyway, you know, it's just kind of a big event here in Jackson, and everyone was really festive, and yeah, it's always a good time.
Yeah, it was a blast. So I actually went down because the studio, Pottery Studios, is located 1 block away from the parade. So I worked from the studio that day. Sort of worked. I was watching Daredevil and working while watching Daredevil and watching all the people go to and from the parade. So it was a lot of fun. But good stuff, man. Okay, well, hey, we've got some things on the horizon.
Yeah,
we'll
absolutely.
talk about here. You know, we've mentioned it last couple of episodes. Look, we're going to be in Chicago here this year at the Chicago Pipe Show. We're so excited about this. Now, we've talked about it already, but April 30th and May 1st.
That's right.
If you've never gone to a pipe show, this would be such a great one to go to because Chicago really is like the largest pipe show that's out there.
That's right.
And so this will be an amazing experience. It'll be our first time. We hope to get a chance to meet many of you during the pipe show and maybe even before and after. We'll have some kind of meetup for sure. We'll get, as we get closer, we'll definitely lock in the details there. But yeah, we will be at the Chicago Pipe Show.
So excited, man. It's going to be a really fun opportunity. We'll release more details as we get nearer, but you know, it's the granddaddy of them all, kind of like they talk about the Rose Bowl. You know, it's the big one. I mean,
the Rose Bowl of the pipe world.
It's the Rose Bowl of the pipe world. Yeah, it just is. So, man, we've you know, never been, and I think it'll be a really eye-opening experience for both of us. But
I'm imagining like parade floats like covered in pipes like the Rose Bowl.
Yeah,
and actually, if you've ever seen that Nording pipe made of Nording pipes,
yeah, which is incredible,
which I believe is actually there, right? Don't they typically bring it to Chicago?
I imagine it will be. Yeah, if it would be anywhere, I think it would be.
There, I cannot wait to get my picture with it.
I want to get my picture with that, and I want to, you know, if we're going to carry on the parade theme, I'd just love to see Brian Levine covered in roses.
Oh, yes, sir.
Could we make that happen?
We got to make that
Maybe
happen.
like a wreath around him with like, you know, like a...
We could break into his room while he's asleep and just...
This could get ugly really quick.
Be careful with that. Man, look, whenever we go on the road, we love to connect with you guys. You know, I travel from time to time and try to do some meetups around this wonderful country, but I'm excited to actually say we could potentially do a meetup not in this country.
What are you talking about?
I'm going to London.
You didn't tell me that.
Yeah, I'm going to London.
When are you going to London?
Yeah, I'm going to London in June.
Dude, that's so cool.
Yeah, the week leading up to June 18th and 19th that weekend, I'm actually going to be a panelist at New Media Europe.
Dude, that is so great.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
I'm really excited about it. So it should be a lot of fun.
That is exciting. Yeah.
And so Christina, you know, my wife decided, you know, if you go just for the weekend, then you're really almost kind of wasting your trip because it's so expensive.
Yeah. You go over there, do your little work stuff, and then you're like, no, we're going to do this upright.
Exactly. So I'll be there for almost an entire week.
Have you been before?
I've never been before.
Wow. Have you been overseas before?
I've been to Italy.
Okay. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I remember that trip.
And but that's it. So I've always wanted to go to London. I've even said that specifically on the podcast. And so as we were looking at different opportunities and expos, it was not even on the horizon, but they reached out a couple weeks ago, and we've been back and forth a couple times. And
man, such a great opportunity.
I'm really excited about it.
And so much pipe history there. You know, there's such an incredible school of, you know, British pipe making that is kind of centered there in London. So, man, hopefully some people will like write in or whatever and kind of give you some feedback on places to go and that type of thing.
Yeah.
You may not have lots of time, honestly, when you're over there.
No, I will. I'll actually have some good time leading up to the actual event. So hopefully what I'd like to do is if you're in the UK, if you're a listener in the UK, reach out, let me know. Let's meet up. Let's go have a pint and a pipe and yeah, let's connect. I think that'd be amazing.
Man, that's so cool. That is so cool. Foggy London town.
It'll be great, man. I'm so stoked about it. Man, speaking of being stoked, we've got an awesome topic this week.
We really do. I'm pretty excited about this.
So, you know, from time to time, we talk about pipes and pipe tobacco. If you've listened to this podcast for any stretch of time, you're aware that that is a traditional subject matter that is covered here.
Pipes and pipe tobacco?
Yeah.
It comes up occasionally.
That's right. And, you know, one of the things that we like to do is we like to look at various tobaccos, various tobacco pairings. We like to look at the culture that surrounds it. We like to look at famous pipe smokers. Yeah. But we also like to take the time to educate ourselves as well as you guys about various styles of pipe and shapes of pipe.
That's right.
And one of the ones that has been requested before and finally, after many doves have cried, it makes its appearance on this particular episode.
That's right.
We're talking about the pipe formerly known as Prince.
That's right.
You like that? How's that?
We had so much fun with that. Yeah, man, it's such a wonderful shape, and one of those that I guess you'd call it a cult following, that Prince shaped pipe. You know, but it's one of those that I think people that don't like it really don't like it, but there's a lot of folks that just really, really love this shape. And it's extremely satisfying to smoke. I'm smoking my Savinelli Punta Oro Prince right now. Just a really old-fashioned pipe with a real nice ebonite stem. But yeah, dude, I thought we'd kind of chime in and see, just check in on the origins of the Prince.
Okay, so Prince does refer to the shape.
That's right. It's a Prince, right?
Well, and when we say shape, that refers to both the stem and the bowl.
Yeah.
Okay.
Typically, you've got bowls that, and that's a good point, Bo. You'll have like a billiard pipe that is like a bent billiard or a straight billiard, or, even a bent or straight bulldog or Rhodesian. But with a Prince, typically, the Prince is almost always a straight pipe with just a little curve in it. Sometimes you'll find a truly straight Prince pipe, but most of the time you're going to see just that little curve right there at the very end. It's very elegant. And so, yeah, it's a very elegant shape, and that kind of is, part of the origin of this thing. We talk a lot on our show about our friend Greg Peace over at GLP Tobaccos, and Greg, good friend of the show, good friend of the shop, and he's one of those people who's just an incredible wealth of information out there with pipe smoking, tobaccos, but also pipes as well. And he kind of has a lot of really detailed stuff on all the different shapes, which I always like to refer people to if they're newer at pipe smoking and just want kind of a primer on this. But he describes the Prince as a kind of a flattened, squished apple, something that it's an apple shape, but kind of flattened down a little bit. Typically, the shank is going to be kind of thin on this pipe, and then it's got once again kind of that straight stem with just a slight bend to it. Which just gives it just a real nice elegance.
Interesting, because a squashed apple, typically I tend to personally associate apples with much larger bowls than the one that you have currently in your hand.
That's right. Now, they do come in a variety of sizes. Like this Prince is a relatively small pipe, but, Savinelli used to make Princes that were smaller. I think now most of their pipes are going to be kind of in that KS size if it's a Prince. I think it's a 315 shape maybe, but it's that shape where, it's going to be kind of a chunkier bowl now. So, but it's just a real kind of nice streamlined pipe. This shape, interestingly enough, was Mrs. Reeves' favorite shape. Mrs. Reeves, Mr. and Mrs. Jim Reeves, who founded the shop 46 years ago now, man, he passed away years ago, and she, as you know, kind of carried the shop on for years after that. And this was her favorite shape. So anytime she would order pipes, she would always throw a Prince in. And so there was just always a Prince on the shelf. But yeah, I think the most interesting thing about the Prince shape is why it's called the Prince. Why is this pipe formally called Prince? Right.
I mean, one imagines it's not the pop artist, that it actually has some more regal origins in that.
That's exactly right. This pipe was actually named for and designed for Edward Windsor. Now, if you haven't heard that name, that is because you may or may not have heard of this title in Britain, which you're going to be going to soon, called the Prince of Wales. And Edward Windsor was the Prince of Wales. This was back in the 20s and 30s. And as a prince, he was kind of the young, dashing, avant-garde ladies' man that kind of set the tone for style in that era Britain. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And eventually he went on to be Edward VIII, which we'll talk about later. But this pipe is to understand the shape of the pipe, you kind of have to understand the Prince of Wales himself. This was a person, he was a man about town, kind of that playboy type. And the press at the time actually referred to him as, quote, the arbiter of men's fashion, a fearless horseman, tireless dancer, idol of bachelors, and dream of spinsters.
Sounds like
Did you just point to me?
It sounds like an early John David Cole.
I'm just saying, yes, but a lot more refined.
As in you or he?
Yes. But yeah, it's one of those shapes that just kind of screams elegance, and it's not particularly practical. It's one of those shapes that you're kind of focused on the aesthetic of it. You're not going to be working while you use this pipe. This is definitely a kind of a social pipe, something that you'll be sitting down, lounging with, relaxing. The focus on this shape is definitely going to be the style in the grain. So as our friend Greg goes on, he says, the Prince is a sophisticated and graceful pipe, reflecting both Edward's impeccable sense of style and the elegance of the period. So just kind of think of that late Edwardian, pre-World War II kind of genteel era where, we hadn't lost, a lot of that magic surrounding kind of the, regalness of society and all that kind of stuff.
So Downton Abbey.
Yeah, I mean, basically.
Sure.
Yeah. So the pipe shop that designed, or the pipe company that designed this pipe for the Prince of Wales, it's named Lowe's. It's one of those really old school brands that to my knowledge, doesn't exist anymore. There might be some incarnation somewhere, but you'd probably kind of put it along the lines of a GBD or a BBB or one of those old school pipe brands. It's like a British briar pipe maker that was an early, one of the early briar pipe makers in England.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But anyway, designed especially for the Prince. And the shape is just, like I said, really elegant. I love my Prince pipes, and I think the reason I like them so much is because since they are straight and the bowl is particularly kind of squished down a little bit, this makes an excellent flake pipe. It's one of my favorite flake pipes to smoke. And the reason why, there's this magic that happens when you light a piece of flake tobacco.
Sure.
And when you light a piece of flake tobacco, the flakes that have been so harshly pressed together, when you put that fire to them, kind of are liberated from their pressure and they expand.
Right.
And so
yeah.
when you're lighting flake tobacco, if you do it very gently and very slowly with the match, you can see these flakes start to bulge out of the top of your pipe. And the Prince pipe is such a good smoker for that, because you can sit here as you're puffing it, getting your pipe lit and stoked up. You're looking at this volcano of tobacco that is erupting from your pipe, and it's just right there in your face. You can see it so perfectly, and it just accentuates kind of the novelty of that, which I really appreciate. So it's right there, real visible to see, so you can kind of see in the bowl easily and just check the status of your bowl and everything like that. But it's a very fun shape to smoke. It's one of those that as you're holding it, you kind of have a sense of maybe authority, or maybe a sense of whimsy, or like I don't know, just it's good to talk with it in your hand.
Yeah, no,
I'll say it that way.
As you were talking about it
that?
being, you said a social pipe.
Yeah,
and I've never even considered the fact that there's kind of social pipes, there's study pipes, there's working pipes, and that's true.
That's right.
But as you're talking about it, it almost seemed like, I don't know, you seemed more confident. You seemed like you had more authority about what you were saying. It was just, I can definitely...
Really, when I smoke my Prince pipe, I'm a better person.
Well,
I'm really just a better person.
I don't know about that, but you certainly come across as if you know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Honestly, if I walked a baby in a stroller, had my puppy dog with me, and smoked my Prince pipe, there's probably, at that point, no reason I would be single at that point.
Good,
don't you think?
I think I think if
maybe
you were
I need
walking
to smoke
around...
this thing more often. I don't know.
So the Prince
of
Wales,
control. Yeah,
it's interesting to me. I think about, like, obviously you mentioned, of course, he was a trendsetter.
That's right.
He was somebody who was out there kind of establishing what the look of the day should be.
Yeah.
But so wild, and I mean, I guess it's true of almost every single pipe that's out there, is that somebody either carved it themselves or essentially commissioned it,
or it was designed maybe particularly for someone.
Yeah.
And you've got pipes also that are made from a functional standpoint too.
Oh, absolutely.
Just something that comes to mind, anything that has a flat bottom on it will tend to sit, and some people like that for whatever reason. But yeah, you've got a shape that I think was inspired by someone and then made for them, and kind of became a classic in a very short amount of time. So it's really cool. The Edward's story goes on. The Prince of Wales, and his pipe is not the only legacy he left. I just love his story because he's such an interesting character. But if you're familiar with British history at all, and this was, I was a history major in college, and that gives me absolutely nothing other than, I have the ability to pretend like I occasionally know some things about the past.
It's fine. You're holding your Prince pipe. We're all going to believe you.
Yeah, you all believe me because I'm sitting here holding this Prince. Right. But my focus in it was British history, which was a lot of fun, and you just hear about and learn about all these, regal, incredibly significant things of the past that, defined Western civilization, all these things. But one of the fascinating things about Edward, he was a Prince of Wales, and his father died. This was 1936, and he ascended to the throne to become the King of England. And so, he was the firstborn son. There were either 2 or 3 sons. I think there were 3. There might have even been 4. I can't remember. But
what was his last name?
Well, when you're British royalty, you really don't have a last name.
Yeah.
But they're from the House of Windsor.
Because the patriarch of the House of York was also named Edward.
Yeah. So he was Edward the Eighth.
Okay.
So when this person came through, he was Edward the Eighth. But so he ascends to the throne of Great Britain in 1936, and oddly enough, falls in love. He was single, and he falls in love with an American socialite divorcee. And so, here you've got this. I mean, think about who we've been talking about now. This very stylish kind of avant-garde. He's always kind of the talk of the town, and he's the what do we call him? The envy of all the bachelors, and the dream of the spinsters, and all this
dream
kind
of the
stuff.
spinsters.
Everyone desires to be that.
I mean, that's a title right there.
But this guy is now king, and he falls in love with this. Number one, an American who, you're the British king, and you fall in love with an American, and also at the time a divorced person. And so, the king of England is, if I'm still correct, is the governor and supreme leader of the Church of England, and they can't be divorced. And so, even though that church was kind of founded on that.
Yeah, that was a whole Church of England thing, right?
Right.
Well,
as an Anglican, I can say that.
In all fairness, actually, yeah, you're right. That was the standard. Like, you can't divorce her. You can murder her.
Right.
That's fine. Go ahead and kill her.
Too soon.
Yeah.
Too soon. It's like 800 years ago.
I'm Henry VIII. I am.
Don't please quit singing. Anyway, so Edward, he's Edward the Eighth now, and he's in love with this American, divorcee, and he decides he is actually gonna abdicate the throne. He wants to marry this woman so badly, he's gonna abdicate the throne, and so he did that. He actually resigned, essentially being the King of England, and passed the baton. Then passed to his younger brother, who became George VI, and. If you've seen the movie The King's Speech, that's how George VI became king.
Right.
Was that his older kind of playboy brother quit being king so he could go marry a woman. And so and so without that, you wouldn't have George VI, and therefore the current British monarch, Elizabeth II, would never have become queen.
Now, as I recall, the movie, and I mean, the movie took some creative license throughout the story anyway.
Yeah, sure, they all do.
But one of the things I recall is the movie kind of established it more of, yes, he was in love with her, but it was also like he didn't want the pressure of everything that was going on at the time.
Yeah.
And so it was more of like, oh, this is a way out in which, like, there's a story. It's a love story. This is a beautiful thing that I'm giving up. I'm shirking this responsibility. So,
you know what? Younger, more responsible brother, you take it.
Yeah, who can't speak.
Right.
So you had a king's speech.
What a terrible impression.
He was it was Lord Grantham, right? Wasn't the actor the same guy that played Lord Grantham from Downton Abbey? And he was taught he was actually taught, I do remember this, the guy that played the guy that taught him how to speak is actually Barbossa from the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Is that the same guy?
Same guy.
Wow.
Dude is a chameleon.
That's going back. Yeah, really. That's a pretty broad spectrum there.
It's fantastic. Yeah. Interesting. So
fascinating.
That's the guy that developed, or at least inspired the Prince.
Inspired the Prince-shaped pipe. That's exactly right. So, and that is why the pipe is formally known as Prince.
I mean, it's slightly misleading, right? Because technically it is. It's currently known as Prince as well. But
yeah, it's not formerly known. It's formally known.
Oh, yeah. You
see what I did there?
I do see what you did there. Yeah. Help me with the grammar when it comes time for show notes. That's so great. Well, man, what a legendary story right there. Mm-hmm. And you know what? I like legends.
You do like legends.
I also like legend pipes.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That's right. We got a pipe sponsor in this episode. Talk about the legend pipe from Missouri Meerschaum.
That's exactly right.
Man, gorgeous pipe. We actually mentioned it last episode. It's one of these kind of medium-sized bowls. A little bit, actually, would you say it's actually one of the larger bowls?
I would say medium to large. It's like It's like a large medium.
It's a good sized bowl for a good
Yeah.
sized smoke, and it's a great quality pipe from the good folks at Missouri Meerschaum. You know, actually, it's wonderful because every single episode, whenever we mention a pipe from Missouri Meerschaum, folks have been kind enough to post pictures of their pipes. You know, Missouri Meerschaum is, I mean, it's a household name. People know Missouri Meerschaum.
Absolutely.
And it's so interesting to take a look and take a moment and actually look at the various pipe designs that they themselves have also come up with on their own. You know, we talk about this episode and the history behind something like the Prince, but Missouri Meerschaum is cranking out pipes and styles that are very uniquely modern.
And uniquely Missouri Meerschaum.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So hey, if you got a legend pipe, be sure to take a selfie, bust it out this week, smoke it, and send in a photo of you and your legend pipe, and we will be sure to retweet that out on Twitter.
We do. We love Missouri Meerschaum pipes here at the Country Squire, and we highly recommend the Legend, which I think is our best-selling corncob pipe at this time.
I'll believe it.
Yep.
Man, it's the air in here gets so dry.
Is it?
And the scotch doesn't necessarily help quench that.
Yeah, that just means you should drink more of it.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. All right. Well, that's a good. I'm retweeting out. We're getting some great comments in on the Twitter here.
My Twitter has not been updating, so I'm having trouble getting.
You know, I think we're a little bit on the delay.
Yeah.
On Twitter, so it's kind of a crazy thing. All right, back to the show.
Yeah, bring it.
Pipe question of the week this week is written in by listener Jay, who asks, to me, a lot of the appeal of pipe tobacco is that it's natural and hasn't been bathed in 1,000 extra chemicals and crud like cigarettes.
Yeah.
But I realize I'm just assuming that. Do you know if it's true? And if it is it true in general for pipe tobacco?
Yeah. Great question. And, you know, again, you've got naysayers out there that kind of lump tobacco all into one group. But, you know, at the Squire and general pipe enthusiasts, you know, on average are going to tell you that, yeah, pipe tobacco is much more natural and much cleaner than anything else on the market, because it's just so, in general, it's just a plant. You know, this is just a plant that you've shredded up and, you know, blended with different other plants to kind of make your own concoction. And so that's exactly right. Tobacco by nature does have nicotine in it. Nicotine is, you know, a part of the actual, you know, plant. It's a biological, you know, function there. So that's not an additive. A lot of people say like, well, they put all that nicotine in it. Well, no, that's just part of tobacco. But you know what a lot of cigarette makers do is they add other things as well that really do, you know, tend to get you more that the deep intense craving that you have for a cigarette typically isn't seen in the pipe smoker because of that. So you know, you will, in flavored tobaccos, you will have natural extracts that are used to make these syrups that go into casing the pipe tobacco. And
as you would expect.
You know, as you would expect. And so you've got these big, you know, if you go to a tobacco, you know, factory, you've got these big bins where they had these jets and things where they, you know, kind of toss this tobacco in with this, you know, with these kind of syrups that they make, and then flavor this stuff really good. Sometimes on aromatic tobacco, you will see a substance called propylene glycol. Propylene glycol is it's actually a natural product. It's used in a variety of things, but it helps keep some of the tobacco moist sometimes. So on aromatics that are like extremely moist, and you might experience that on some of your lower end aromatics, you're gonna, you know, occasionally bump into some of that propylene glycol. But even then, you know, the medical and scientific community hasn't seen any reason to be, you know, fearful of that because it's used in other food products and things like that. So, you know, on the whole, almost all tobacco products that, you know, are pipe centered are going to be, you know, just natural.
Yeah. Well, what about the glucose and high fructose corn syrup?
Oh, yeah. The more high fructose we can have, the better.
Right.
I don't think there's any high fructose in pipe tobacco.
I guess it depends on what it's flavored with.
Yeah.
I don't know. That'd be a good question.
I don't know. You know, everything I've seen and experienced personally is that most of the ingredients come from natural flavors. You know, that occasionally on a super moist, you know, aromatic tobacco, you might have some propylene glycol there just to, you know, kind of help keep it fresh. But
Gotcha.
but other than that, you're smoking a straight plant.
Jay, I would also encourage you to check out an episode we did called "Separating the Stigma."
Yeah.
which goes into
Yeah, that was good.
Breaking apart cigars, pipe tobacco, and cigarettes, and the various histories of all three, and just the stigma that sometimes goes along with them as a grouping, and maybe shouldn't. So be sure to check that one out.
Yeah.
Man, great question, Jay. And hey, if you've got a pipe question of the week, send it in csr@podastery.com. All right, man. Quick fire question.
Bring them.
Okay, this is a versus. We've got coming up this this weekend is the Batman versus Superman movie.
Oh, is that
That's a thing.
okay?
Yep.
Okay, so wow, is that going to be like? Is one of them good and one of them's bad?
I mean,
Or how does that going to work out?
I'm sure that I'm sure that the evil forces of Lex Luthor and his cohorts have done such machinations that have put them in each other's. Who cares, man? It's Batman versus Superman. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, it's like, well, superheroes and explosions and whatever. I mean, it sounds great.
Look, with Batman versus Superman, and then also Marvel Civil War going on, it's very much a hero versus hero kind of year.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've got heroes and some villains, I suppose, that are kind of going up against it here.
Okay, sweet.
All right, ready?
Bring it.
Luigi versus Tails. And do you need me to explain?
Wow, no, I know who both those people
great.
are. Yeah, so we're kind of talking about maybe like the second fiddle to Mario and Sonic.
I think Sidekick might be a little bit nicer.
Sidekick, yeah. I mean, but yeah.
Second fiddle.
Man, I think I got to go with Luigi.
Tails can fly, so I'm going to go with Tails. Now, Luigi's obviously
but Luigi's
older.
a plumber.
Yeah, that's so great against a flying fox. Yeah, I'm definitely going to go with Tails.
Okay,
there.
you might be on something.
Flying mutant fox. Stewie Griffin versus Bart Simpson.
I have to go with Stuart.
I mean, Stewie would just literally kill him, right?
No, literally. I think he, of course, he's maniacal and wants to take out the human race anyway. But yeah, I have to go with Stewie Griffin.
Yeah, I mean, Bart, of course, has the staying power. He's been on television much longer, but he's just kind of an annoying, bratty kid. Whereas Stewie Griffin is Stuart Gilligan Griffin is actually he's a genius. He's invented time travel, mind control.
Hey, Bo, you working on that novel?
He's working on the novel.
You working on that?
You're doing good. You're doing good. Yeah, I'm gonna give it to Stewie as well. The Fonz versus Zach Morris.
I'm gonna go with Zach Morris on this. I think those memories of him pulling out that gigantic cell phone and kind of being in the 90s, which was our decade. I don't know. I have to go with him.
He was kind of our Fonz, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, because they both kind of the epitome of cool.
Yeah.
Both
during their era.
Yeah, both television characters with a cult following. Both super powered individuals.
Yeah. I have to go with Zach Morris.
As you recall, the Fonz, his super ability was he could snap his fingers and all the women in his vicinity would approach upon him. He could also knock basically any machine, just punch it and it starts working
and
for him.
it would just start working. Yeah.
Whereas Zach Morris had the ability of time travel. Or not time travel, but he could stop time.
He could stop time. That's right.
Yeah.
No, I'd forgotten that.
No, and actually, I was this past
that could
week.
be really handy.
I actually was watching Saved by the Bell, and I never really watched Saved by the Bell, but I was watching an episode in which he literally stopped time, grabbed a piece of paper, put it in between two people who were about to kiss to make sure they wouldn't kiss, and then also arranged it so that somebody who was about to punch him ends up punching somebody else. And so it's not just a storytelling device.
Yeah.
He literally has the ability to stop time and affect individuals so that when he restarts time, it all goes the way that he wants to.
That's amazing.
I'm giving it to Zach Morris.
Yeah, I don't remember that. I kind of want to go back and see that episode. But that's I think that's plenty of reason.
I think he should have been an X-Men is really what he should have been. Iron Man versus Captain America. The movie version specifically. Which you've never seen the movies.
I'm going to go with Captain America because he wears more spandex.
Iron Man quite literally does not wear spandex. He wears iron.
Right.
As the name would imply.
Right.
It's interesting. So the
and just America too.
If you're following
Bo hates me so bad.
if you're following the films at all, I think they're going to tell the Civil War story in a really interesting way.
Yeah, I think you're right.
The original comic book story, the idea was that Iron Man saw that they needed a little bit more oversight. There needed to be more accountability in the superhero community after a tragedy occurred in which superheroes were responsible for a school getting blown up in the midst of a battle.
Okay.
And so he's like, look, we need more training. We need accountability. Cops have to, they have to carry a badge. We need to carry a badge too. And Captain America's like, look, I'm not going to do that if that means we have to lock up people who are trying to do good on their own and want to protect their secret identities. So they had this, a theological, or not a theological, but a philosophical debate in the midst of, the superhero action. The movie's probably going to be slightly different, but, I always thought that Iron Man made some good points. Plus, Robert Downey Jr. is kind of awesome.
He's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it to Iron Man.
Okay.
And I feel bad for him. If you see the trailer where Captain America and Winter Soldier are like pounding on him, it breaks my heart, man. He's like, he's my friend. He's like, so is I. Like, he's like, wait, you're wrong, Captain America. You're wrong. Tony Stark was your friend too. I'm just saying.
Is Mega Man an option?
All right, here's the grand finale. You ready?
Yeah, bring it.
Batman versus Superman.
Batman.
Really?
Yeah, Batman.
Really? You are going to choose Batman? You who know nothing other than the fact that Superman... What do you know about Superman?
That he can jump over buildings and is faster than a speeding bullet.
And what do you know about Batman?
He has cooler toys.
Okay.
The thing is, Batman just seems more real to me. Like, Superman just kind of has this, like, slick, everything's perfect, like, kind of vanilla... patina, and like with Batman, he just kind of seems like sometimes he gets just kind of angry, and like, I could see Batman having a bad day easier than I could see right.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I was gonna just choose whoever you didn't choose. I'm just surprised that you chose Batman. So
after I just chose Captain America, who was and I chose Captain America because he
uses more spandex. Yeah. There, you should definitely go with Superman. But no, I'll go Superman. I can make an argument for either one, honestly. So I'm one of those people that wait to let everybody else choose, and then I choose the one that is kind of the underdog in the conversation, so that I can tweak it, because I can make an argument either way.
No, that's good. That's good. I want to mention that our friend Russ Hicks, he tweets in, we all know Batman versus Superman is really all about Wonder Woman. And that's fair.
Yeah, no. I'm stoked to see Wonder Woman, and actually some of the rumors. I don't want to spoil anything, but I'm
about to.
Well, no, I from one review that I read, perhaps we're actually going to see a ton more in the final throwdown. So
yeah,
that's all I'll say about that. All right, man. Good quick fire questions.
Yeah, those were great.
Send in some quick fire questions to us, csr@podastery.com. And hey, man, before we jump into listener feedback, let's talk about the pipe tobacco that's sponsoring this episode.
Man,
we got a new one.
We do.
Peter Stokeby Luxury Bullseye Flake.
Man, it's such a delicious tobacco, and it's one of those that it's in every Virginia Perique smokers rotation is always Stokeby Luxury Bullseye Flake, and it's just kind of ubiquitous in the pipe industry. It's one of those that it's easy to find. It's super smooth, and it's a lot of fun to smoke. Yeah.
So you've got some right here. I wanted to take a look at it.
I do. Yeah. Why don't we take a look? I'll open this mason jar that I've had kind of stacked with it.
Man, look at that. Do you mind if I take one of those?
Yeah, not a bit.
Oh, man.
Not a bit.
So, of course, bullseye would imply that there is a bullseye type design. Of course, it is that pepperoni roll style, I think is what you call it.
That's right. It's a medallion. And imagine what they've done here is they've taken like a rod of black Cavendish. It's unflavored. They put this in the center of it, and then they twist the Virginia tobaccos with the Perique real tightly around this, and then of course slice it into these medallions. And so what you've got is just this really, you look at it and you're like, that is luxurious. That's a luxurious flake tobacco, and it provides just a real cool, even smoke, and one of those where the Cavendish just kind of tempers some of the harshness, perhaps, of the Virginias that are there.
Man,
and,
beautiful,
it's delicious.
Beautiful blend of ripe Virginias, and then also that Louisiana Perique.
Yes,
pure Louisiana Perique. Is in there as well. So y'all check it out. And we posted out a picture of the last tobacco that we had sponsored an episode, and we'll be doing the same. So be sure to check out on Facebook, and then also, I say do it. If you've got some Stokeby Luxury Bullseye, be sure to take a picture of it specifically before you break it apart too, because it is such a cool looking.
It's really beautiful.
Yeah.
It's one of those tobaccos. A lot of folks, when they get flake tobacco, they want to get it and tear it all apart as they are. But before, as soon as they open their tin of it or their jar of it or whatever, this is sold in bulk, which we love. So you can just get tons of it. But with the bullseye flake, it's just so beautiful. You really want to leave it in those medallions as long as you can, and just kind of tear them apart as you use them. It's such a satisfying smoke. So anyway, highly recommended. We're glad to have them sponsor in today's show.
Listener feedback this week. We got a YouTube comment from Doug who says, guys, you should try Silvovitz Plum Brandy. The beverage of the Balkans seems a natural pairing for a Balkan blend. Man, what a great idea.
Wow. I've never even heard of that. I guess it's some kind of
plum brandy.
It's a plum brandy. Yeah. So it's one of their spirits.
Yeah.
That's great.
We'll have to ask our local spirit store if they've got it. Maybe next time for a Squire Select. We've never done brandy, but that would be great.
Yeah,
I love
now
brandy.
You occasionally drink brandy.
I do.
Yeah,
I do.
I'm not very familiar with brandy. I know some of the port wines that you drink are, I think, fortified with brandy. Is that right? But I don't.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I don't know. I don't know a lot about it. So yeah, that'd be cool.
Great suggestion, Doug. You want to take the next one?
Am I next? Okay. Our next feedback comes from Thomas Golden on Facebook. He says, "I've been enjoying getting to know this podcast. I'll maybe save my story for another day. So my own pilgrimage to Jackson, Mississippi. But what inspired me to write today was first to tell you how much I enjoy your show, and then to remark on the fact that Bo and I wear our hats for almost the same reasons. My cap has a story, as I bought it while on leave in London. At the same time, I purchased my first basket pipe. I wore my hat and smoked my pipe with pride, feeling very British, until a few years later, after running through the Minneapolis airport, I removed my cap to get the sweat off my brow and realized for the first time I had never looked at the tag in my cap. It said, I kept wearing the cap because I love the fit, love the newsies, and I don't brush my hair. Amen. So, yeah, man, great. Thanks for writing in. I think there's a lot of hat smokers that, or hat wearers that are pipe smokers.
Hey, Thomas.
Is yours too?
Mine's made in China too. I've never really looked.
But
nothing wrong with that.
No, that's great.
Look, my big thing is it's got to be big enough to fit my head. But yeah, the big connection. Of course, a couple episodes ago we talked about it. But Newsies.
No, that's great. I mean, instead of British though, you can just kind of it pays homage to some of our Chinese listeners.
Hey, it's a fine life carrying the banner. That's all I'll say about that. We got Go No Pro. Or Go No Po on iTunes, who writes in saying, top of my list, these gentlemen are a pleasure to hear each week, and I hope to meet them personally someday. Well, hey, Go No Po, we hope you do as well.
Man, absolutely. Come do a pilgrimage, or maybe we'll see you at the Chicago Pipe Show or something like that.
Absolutely.
That'd
be great. Public Piper on Twitter also tweeted in and said, given the Prince's interesting story, is there a similar story behind the author shape?
I'm not aware.
We'll have to, that might be a future episode.
We could research that. Yeah, absolutely. And Mark Van Vrinken, Mark VV tweets in. He says, if we do the Binks blood tobacco, would it be cased with propylene glycol, Jar Jar's blood, and the tears of Gungans? We can definitely get on that.
I mean, why not? Right.
Once I find my local apothecary that carries all these things, then we'll get on that.
I mean, your apothecary isn't an apothecary if it's not carrying the tears of Gungans.
The tears of Gungans. I wonder what kind of mana that would give you.
Oh my gosh, you went there! Wow,
I did.
I'm impressed. That's good. Well, man, what a great episode and a great topic. Look, we love getting feedback from you guys, both on the live show, on Twitter, on these iTunes reviews, especially. That's such a great way to help out the show. So if you've not gotten a chance to write us an iTunes review, head over to iTunes and do that. You can also tune in for the show as well. You can watch live. We broadcast at countrysquireradio.com. That's every single Monday night at 6:30 p.m. Central. That's 4:30 Pacific, 7:30 Eastern. You can, of course, follow us on Twitter. You can follow me at The Real Bo York.
I'm at John David Cole, or you can get us at the shop at _Country Squire.
And, of course, the show's Twitter handle is at Squire Radio. And, hey, look, if you happen to be in the UK or you want to do the meetup in London, go ahead and reach out to me. Twitter is the best way to get a hold of me. So at The Real Bo York on Twitter. Facebook is not a great way to get a hold of me. Email is kind of hit or miss. Even if you have my phone number, you might be out of luck. But Twitter, typically I respond. So So yeah, hit me up and we'll throw something together. I think it'd be great.
Man, I'm so jealous. Can I like stow away in your bag? I
Man,
want to go to Britain, man. Are you kidding me?
It'll be
That's
after
awesome.
it'll be after we spend all that time together in Chicago. So make the
Oh no,
decision if you want to.
I'll be tired.
You'll be sick of me.
It'd probably go both ways, bro.
Look, no, not at all, man. I love traveling with you. I'm looking forward to
Man,
Chicago.
Me too. It's gonna be a blast. Like I mentioned before, I've never been to the Windy City, so don't know how much time we'll have to look around and all that. And I know the event is kind of away from downtown, but anyway, hope we'll get to.
Yeah, I think we'll make
cool
it
stuff
out there.
Yeah,
I think we have to.
It'd be great.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. And hey, let's go have a night.
See you, brother.
All right, guys. You guys are awesome. Sorry. Well, not sorry. Everything worked out well.
Sorry, not sorry.
I apologize for nothing. For nothing.
Did we think we had a little like a lag in the
originally I
in
thought
the
we were
feed
gonna,
or something?
I thought we were gonna have issues originally, and then it was fine. So I apologize for nothing. See you guys.
Good night, y'all. Gotta move that pop.